Alrighty, we got the first coat on, and already you can see the gold. Uh, I I kind of hopped from this one to that one to this one to that one, uh, very lightly. The first spray I did, you could still see mostly gray. You could barely see it was even gold. You want to do your first coat very lightly. I also have my heater on full blast, and then I have this aluminum piece, so it's kind of, these are heating the aluminum up, which is then going to radiate heat up to help try to heat these up. I also put the heat gun on. I put it in the sun as you saw before, and then I put the heat gun on to warm them up. I actually tried to fix, you can see a little dot in there. I tried to cover that up by, I sprayed some in the can and I took something and I put the paint on and put it here. And I don't know if the caliper was too warm or I don't know what happened, but it took the paint off and now it looks worse. But thankfully we have a big Brembo sticker that goes right here, so you shouldn't see it. But I agree with the comments from my Toge group. Gold was the way to go. That, of course, it just looks black now because of the sun. But that gold on the red, I'll show you what's going on now. Of course, I have the blanket there to keep from the overspray. It keeps falling off because the body's so slick. But that's what's on there now. And it's just old, ugly, gross, and the new ones come all the way out to here, so we're gaining a lot of braking power, and it's just going to look phenomenal, especially when we take, like I said in part one, I taped the bolts, so this is a black Allen head, and you can see the back of it would still be black. So I taped that. So when we take the tape off, you'll have this gold with the black Brembo and the black bolts sticking through. And it's going to look so good. Okay, so I'm too antsy. I want to get this done today. So this is like 3 hours later, maybe 4. But the calipers are actually quite warm to the touch. And all this is completely dry. I can rub it now, and so I'm satisfied enough that it's going to take. And this is the messed up one, and you can see the deal. But like I said, Brembo's going right there, so I don't think you'll see it. It's not a big deal. A little bit of dirt, so we'll go and microfiber these again since they're dry, and continue spraying them with that gold. Get it in the shot, maybe. That's going to look so good. So excited. So back to spray painting. Are you ready? Because we finished the gold, and it's now prepped for clear coat right now. As you can see by my smile, holy shit, guys. Look at that. Like, oh man. I am so excited. So we got the stickers on. I took the tape off the bolts because I want to clear coat the bolts as well. So even on the back side, I got the tape off. We left the tape on these because they're bleeder valves and we're going to have to turn them and stuff. So there's no reason to clear coat those. If I do, it's going to break it as soon as we bleed it. Then I left the tape down there as well because we don't want to clear coat the pistons or the seals. But we have, I don't know what the deal is. Don't use the primer I used. I'm guessing because this is flame proof, it's just what it doesn't say but it's acting like it's a I don't even know, kind of like a silicone, like when you spray headers and then they need to cook before it actually dries. That's what it's doing, because it sat for a whole week and it's not dry, and I put the heater on it, but I think, you know, as it cures, it lets vapors off, and I think the vapors were creating bubbles. That, or I didn't shake the can enough of the gold. I don't know, but I got bubbles. Right there I had to pop one, down there I had to pop one, and I caught those early, so you really can't tell. But like, let's say on the back side of this, there's one right there, and there was another one, but I popped it. And it's just weird. Yeah, right here, that's a bubble, and you can clearly see, but I just did it enough. I've got 2 cans of gold on here, so we've got enough paint on there that it's not breaking or flaking, and then we'll clear coat it. It should be fine. It's really the best I can do. Otherwise I have to sand everything back down and get all that primer off and go buy caliper primer, whatever. This looks good. In the future we'll just powder coat it if it starts chipping. But oh my god, this on that is going to look so fucking good. So yeah, this is all dry, so really we're ready to start clear coating. So that's what I'll do, and we'll let it sit overnight. Okay, so the next day, I haven't seen them. They've sat overnight. We'll see them together with the clear coat on them. Holy cow. Oh man, that looks so good. I purposely cleared this more than I did on the underside or on the back side, but there is clear on the back side, as you can see. I cleared the top a lot so I could get those bolts, but oh my goodness. These are gonna look so good, guys. So good. I'm so excited. We're gonna pull out the Rx7, this beautiful thing right here, which I've been using. I've switched up companies on the quick detailer, and I've gone to chemical guys, and they're really responsible for bringing the color back to the 7. I don't know, you can tell in person, but the camera always gives more of a lust than it actually has. But anyway, pull this out, get those calipers out in the sun so we can see them in the sun, and then go from there. Okay, they're out here in the sun, and they just look so gorgeous. If I had to do it all over again, I'd just fucking powder coat them. For whatever reason, you can see the primer stuck, but the gold didn't want to really stick to the primer. You know, most places it did, but some places it just didn't, and I don't know, maybe it was just they needed to be cleaned more after powder coat or something, or after primer. I don't know. Hopefully this face lasts us quite a while until I'm ready to pull the trigger, I guess, and powder coat them. But even from here you can't see any of the imperfections. They just look beautiful. Like, they look like they were powder coated. They're just, it looks so good. So I wasn't planning on it today, but fuck it. They're done. I'll let them bake, and we'll pull the 7 in, and we'll go ahead, jack up the front, and then, oh, my camera looks a little smudgy. Okay, that's better. We'll pull this in, take off the tires, break the back bolt loose, which I'll show you, the one on the caliper. I'm 99.9% sure both of these are M10 by 1.0s, so I shouldn't need the stock FC. It's a hard brake line for so long, and then it goes into the factory soft. That's already stainless steel on the 7 outside. Excuse me today, I'm having problems talking. We'll just pull it in and I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, we have a stainless steel line going into the factory hard line. This goes here. I should just, oh, don't even need to cut it. See if you can't see this. So that should be the same size on both, and since it's a hard line to a stainless steel soft line, I should be able to just screw that in this way, because that's how it is on the Brembo. So really the only thing we need to do is cut this heat shield for the bigger rotor. So first we've got to uninstall the spacers though. Okay guys, there it is. Looks really good with the stance coil overs, or whatever you want to say. There is one problem. The OEM rotor sat flush. This does not. It's probably 10 mil. I'm running generic spacers that are not for the FC Rx7, so the inner diameter is not the same. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking today. So yeah, either the right way is to take it to work, and after hours, here I'll show you what I'm talking about. This right here is smaller than that, which if we put this is the old rotor. You can see that this spacer is smaller than this rotor. So it's only a little bit, as you saw. So either I can by hand take this much out, just a like 1/8 inch in, or I can put it in a lathe and lathe it. Lathing it would be easier. I wouldn't do it today, so technically it wouldn't be faster because I could just fucking do it by hand today. But that changes our offset by 10 mil as well, which kind of is irking me. Honestly, this kit should come with a 10 mil spacer if you want my opinion. But that's kind of the thing. They just released it. Not everybody is running it. Most people aren't running it, so it just kind of is what it is. But yeah, I got to decide what to do. But can we just kind of take in for a second how cool and good that looks? Jesus. But we'll come back once I get this figured out. Okay, I just took the grinder to the back of it, and it's straight. Oh, my glove got stuck. In see, stay straight, no up and down, so it's on there. Yeah, maybe I'll show you when I do the second side, but just to remind you, we're putting on Hawk pads, HPS, which are high performance street instead of the high performance track. So The main difference is these don't need to heat up, and they shouldn't squeak like those race pad Hawk ones that you always hear about. So we're going to apply some of this and install that side. So we'll finish this side entirely and then move to that side. I'm telling you guys, it's always something. We're on the second side. Went to go take out the little screws that hold in your rotor, and sure enough, they were seized. So that's fun. So I just had to drill it out using that. We got it. Both of them are broke. You can see down there. But now we can continue. But that was a little 30-minute detour. So yeah, always fun. Okay, so fucking, I don't know, at least 2, if not 3 hours later, this thing is still seized on here. And we're off the lip there because I looked at the other rotor. What we're stuck on is this outside race, and it's got to come all the way this way. The only way I could even get it off this much was running the bolt down here and trying to push it off. Yep, I bit this, so probably need a new hub. Okay, so I looked at, first off, I pulled it off. I just pulled the whole fucking bearing and hub off. This is cross-threaded now, really badly. This is bent. Yeah. If we go over here, I will show you how much effort I put into this. This is all the hammer marks for me. This is where I put the bolt in and was tightening it to push it out. We were able to push it out that much after 3 hours. I also welded nuts on to try to push it off that way, but this rotor is too shitty of a casting, which most rotors are that. Okay, update. A couple weeks later. So where we left off, I said I bought a new spindle and 2 new hubs, and I was going to replace them. Well, eBay tried to fuck me because the only ones that you can buy are for an FD Rx7, not an FC. You have to go through like Cork Sport or Mazda's Mazda Tricks. That's the one. And it's $800 without the bearing in it. So I decided not to do that. I ended up getting this off of the old rotor. I had to go to my shop, or my work, and use the press there, and it took over 50,000 pounds. The gauge went to 25 ton, and I went 2 more cranks, so it was like 27 ton before it popped out. It was scary as shit. My boss was there. I didn't really want to film it. But anyway, we got the new one on. I bought a knuckle, and the seller specifically said that this was not like this. I said the picture had a picture of this one and a clean one, and I said, is the clean one available? He said, no, the other one is. I said, it looks like there's something broke off, or the ball joint's cut off. He said, no, nothing's cut or broken. You can clearly see they cut the ball joint and cut the bolt, and so that's like 2 hours of work just to make that work. So we went with my original knuckle, and I kept my original spindle, and we got it all good. I just finished bleeding the brakes. We're going to have to end up powder coating these because you can see, for whatever reason, the gold paint did not stick to the primer. It bubbled up in between, and it's really just ruined. After driving, all that will come off, but it is what it is. The old rotor is ruined, so we can't go to the old setup, so like I just said, it is what it is. Just finished bleeding it. I put the spindle back on, tightened the nut, and then loosened it until it was the same tension as the other side. I repacked this. The other side needs to be repacked because it is bad grease, but that will be another time. We're going to throw on the wheels, and then we're going to see if bleeding it worked, if the rears work at all, or what's up. We'll see. There it is. It looks really pretty from about this far away. We're letting the car warm up, of course. E85 can't just start it and go. There she is, Brembo and all. And like I said, we're gonna warm up. Looks pretty good though. I mean, that's why I went ahead and continued putting them on. Cause yeah, they're cracking, and yeah, you can see it right there. But you know, unless you get that close, you're not gonna see it. So from here, they just look beautiful. Shiny. But I got in the car and already I had to pump the brakes like 1 or 2, so it still needs to be bled a little bit, but it's good enough for a test drive and to seat these hawk pads. So we'll do that as soon as the car's warmed up. Okay, so I already drove it once because it's really hard to drive and film. But now that I know what's going on, I can show you guys. So I didn't, there's not a lot of light down there. Hold on, let me turn on. Oh, my battery's too low for a light, but basically it's not bled at all. I have to go all the way to the floor. If I pump it a couple times, see, now I got brake. So we're gonna have to re-bleed them. Which is fine. It's kind of hard to get in the first time, especially with only one person. But they feel pretty good once they're pumped. You know, I'm not slamming on them because we kind of got to seat everything. I already seated the brakes according to Hawk, which is just a couple of low brakes at 25 and then a couple of medium brakes at 35. So we already did that, and we're going to wait until next weekend to bleed the brakes, and we'll go test them out on the tailgate. But this is going to be the end of the do-it-yourself Big Brake Kit. I think we did a pretty good job. Had some trials and tribulations, but we got it done, and I'm really happy with how it looks. It's crazy how awesome it looks. Make sure I'm in neutral. We'll get out and show it one last time. There you go. Brembo do-it-yourself Big Brake Kit for an RX7 FC. So make sure to subscribe, you guys. This is kind of the shit I do, and we'll see you guys next video.